at an FCE essay. So one of my students has written this, and she will be taking the FCE exam next week. And so this is the essay that she has written, or one of the essays that she has written for the writing exam. The question is, some people say that young people can only entertain themselves in front of a screen. What do you think? Now, remember that what this question is asking you is, what do you think about this? Yeah, it's not what do you think about the screen. And I want to make that clear from the start. It's what do you think? Do you think young people can only entertain themselves in front of a screen? Or maybe you've met lots of young people that are great with like not being glued to the screen every second. I mean, I do agree here that it's not just about young people, and the person who's written the essay, she's certainly mentioned this, and of course I agree, it's not just young people, it's adults as well. But let's focus just on young people. We've only got 190 words. It's about 200 words you're supposed to use in this, and so really just focus on the young is my advice. So write about, so you've got to mention these three things. You've got to mention why screen entertainment is so popular. You've got to mention books and reading, and you've got to mention your own idea. And whatever your own idea is, it really ought to be really clear to the examiner that you have included this, your own idea. Okay, so let's read through the essay. Young people belong to a generation in which the importance of technology rises steadily. Good. You could consider changing this tense, because has risen would work very well, especially if you're going to use present perfect in the next one. So in which the importance of technology has risen steadily or is rising steadily. Rises just sounds permanent, yeah? Is rising sounds like we're in the middle of the process, and has risen sounds like we've got the result of the process every moment. Okay, and then a nice semicolon, conjunctive adverb, comma. So that's a good way of linking two sentences together. It looks pretty technical to me, and it's certainly correct. So consequently, their forms of entertainment, yeah? Their forms, not their ways of entertainment. We talk about different forms of entertainment. Their forms of entertainment have changed. Yeah, we're talking about the fact that there's a result here. So we really want to use present perfect rather than past simple, which sounds finished. We're talking about the present result, you know, and the present result is, well, perhaps that young people can only entertain themselves in front of the screen. Or, well, we're going to talk about the present results all through this essay. So I would certainly use have changed more than once. Yeah, there is no expression more than enough compared to once. I've never heard that in my life, more than enough compared to once. So do avoid expressions which you've never heard of, or, you know, you've never come across. I have never come across that one, more than enough compared to once. More than enough I've come across, and compared to something I've come across. But yeah, their forms of entertainment have changed more than once. Okay, yeah, or you could say their forms of entertainment are constantly changing. Yeah, and of course they are. Technology changes very quickly. It has become rarer to see, not to look at the children playing outdoors. It's become rarer to see children, not the children either. We're talking about all children here, so no article. It has become rarer to see children playing outdoors, and outdoors has got an S on it, than to find them stuck on their laptop, gaming or building virtual relationships. So this is a complicated sentence, and it's good, but unfortunately there is a mistake here, and the mistake is all about parallel structure. So you notice that whenever I mark an essay, I talk about parallel structure. And what this means is that parallel structure is a vital skill to learn about, to pick up if you want to improve your writing. Lots of people ask, how can I improve my writing and how can I improve my English? The way you do it, guys, is with parallel structure. So what I'm saying here is that it sounds much nicer to say rarer to X than to Y. Yeah, rarer to do this than to do that. It's nice and clear. And not rarer to see than finding, which isn't parallel. Yeah, and it sounds like if you use finding, it sounds like to see children playing than finding. It sounds like to see children playing than to see children finding. We don't want to say that, do we? We don't want to say the children are finding them stuck on their laptop. We are finding them stuck on their laptop. So rarer to see than to find. And then that's a really nice sentence. So you can see that parallel structure is very important. Let's go on to the next paragraph. Taking a closer look. That's a fronted participle phrase. I like it. Use a range of grammatical structures. This is a good way to start a sentence. So taking a closer look, this trend involves not only very young people, but also adults. Now, before we talk about parallel structure again, let's talk about using also, which means as well, in the same sentence. Yeah, don't overdo it, guys. Don't use two alsos in the same sentence. They are two alsos. As well means in addition, also means in addition means in addition. So you never use any of those three together, because otherwise it's too much. Yeah, it's too much to say also, as well. So get rid of one of them. I would actually probably get rid of the as well. Yeah, and then we've got the but also all correct. Yeah, not only X, but also Y. And when you're using any correlative conjunction, you've got to use parallel structure, or it really helps the reader. It really helps me if I see this trend involves not only young people, but also adults. And notice that I try and keep it with young people, adults, because they're comparable. Yeah. So what I did was I took this part out and put it before the not only, because then it's parallel. But it's not parallel to say not only does this trend involve very young people, but also adults. And you should hear that it's not balanced. We're looking for balance. And so parallel structure is very important for writing. Okay, indeed, the popularity of screen entertainment is closely related to, not related with, closely related to the natural evolution of the customer's behavior. Yeah, the behavior of the customer, the noun of noun, the customer's behavior. The tech companies, aware of this, please use the word this and not that for what we've just mentioned. This has come up in writing before. So aware of this, offer a wide range of digital entertainment so that it could be hard to turn down these new products and go back into the past, not come back, go back into the past, comma, when enjoyment was easier to find, I think. And you can't say that the enjoyment was easy. You can't talk about easy enjoyment. And so when the enjoyment was easier to find, and sometimes probably better, sometimes probably not sure I like those two together. Have you noticed that they're both talking about how frequently something happens? And so it sounds weird to use both of them together. And probably better than now. For instance, nobody can truly prevent us from the pleasure of a traditional free time activity, such as reading printed books, though nowadays we have the digital version as well in positive sentences, either in negative sentences. Yeah, so though nowadays we have the digital version as well. Moreover, the younger must be educated to deal with books. In conclusion, now I want you to notice that this conclusion, I really want to know the answer to this question in the conclusion. I have to find out if the student agrees or disagrees that young people can only entertain themselves in front of the screen. Let's read. In conclusion, the crux of the matter lies, that's a collocation, that's why I've changed is to lies. The crux of the matter lies in choosing the right balance. I'm in favour of this digital transformation, provided that we, no mention of young people, aren't going to lose the essence of real life and to enlarge the distance between people. Well, you realise that means aren't going to lose the essence in real life and aren't going to enlarge the distance between people. Okay, yeah, that's what the writer wants to say. Good. Okay, and to enlarge the distance between people, which may cause social isolation. Okay, but I don't think that answers this question. And that is my main criticism in content. That's why it's not 5 and it's 3.5. I've docked some marks. I've marked it down because, in my opinion, you have to answer this question. You have to focus on it. You mustn't digress and start to talk about what you think about the screen or what you think about digital transformation. You've got to stick to your opinion on young people. Can they entertain themselves in other ways? And you've got to stick to that really through this essay. So I wasn't sure what the student's answer was to this question. I wasn't sure if she thought that young people can only entertain themselves in front of the screen, or if she doesn't think that. And so that's why the content is marked down. You do include why screen entertainment is so popular. Yeah, she mentioned that tech companies offer a wide range of entertainment, and you do mention books and reading as well. Excellent. I wasn't sure which topic you chose as which topic you chose as your own idea. I think you should make this clear, as the examiner will be expecting it. So she did mention gaming and building relationships, which is social media, which is an excellent thing to include as your own idea. But it was mentioned here in the introduction, which meant that it wasn't really very clear that this was the third point that the writer was including as her own idea. And so I would definitely include it in the main body rather than the introduction, if that's your own idea. And here I mention about the conclusion. The conclusion should be less about your opinion of the screen and more about your opinion on whether the young are addicted to the screen. And another point here is you will get a higher mark if you use concrete examples from your own life. And what does this mean? This means real young people. Yeah, we all know real young people. We all know real young people addicted to the screen. And we all know real young people who are not addicted to the screen. And I would use those as your real concrete examples to guide you through this essay. It will make your argument stronger if you use concrete examples. So I've been generous for communicative achievement and giving it a 5 because the style is really appropriate. It's academic, which is great. Now, what do I mean by an academic style? I mean things like not only, but also. That's very academic. I mean linking words like indeed, in conclusion, in addition, though, when. I mean, fronted participles are nice as well, but I thought it had a this is certainly an academic style, that semicolon, conjunctive adverb, comma. So yeah, I thought that deserved a really good mark. The style is appropriate. Organisation 4, excellent linking words, and the essay has a clear introduction, main body, conclusion approach. However, I've already made my criticisms, my comments about the conclusion. It's got to focus on answering the question. And so that's really what I've mentioned there about organisation. It's well organised, it is, but I felt though like the conclusion started to diverge. It wasn't answering the question anymore, not this question anyway. It was answering a different question. So that's the only reason why I've marked it down 1 point on organisation, and I've marked it down a point on language, even though I really like the range of grammatical forms. There's loads. There's correlative conjunctions, comparisons, fronted participles, relative clauses. Fantastic. And I like the academic language. Yeah, that's all the linking expressions, and not only, but also, all of that was really good. But there were some collocation mistakes, go back into the past, see children playing outdoors, and a few grammatical errors, which was articles mainly, and parallel structure. Yeah, and so do bear in mind what I constantly say about this parallel structure. Do have a look at it before you do any kind of essay, because parallel structure is so important. It's so useful. You can see that every single time I mark an essay, I end up talking about parallel structure. Yeah, every single time. And it's something that I never learned at school. I never learned at university, but I wish I did. And certainly I teach it to my young students for sure, whether they're English or foreign, doesn't bother me. And I teach it because I know that it helps improve the way you lay out your sentences, the way you lay out your phrases and your expressions. It makes you much clearer. So I hope that that's been useful for everybody. I hope that I've managed to justify all of my corrections, and I hope you can understand the marking process that I've gone through, how to improve it. Basically, in my opinion, the main thing to get this essay a higher mark is to focus more on that question and answer it in the conclusion. Do you think that young people are screen addicts, or do you not think young people are screen addicts? Make that answer very clear in the conclusion, and it will get a much higher mark. Okay, so thanks everybody for watching. I hope if anybody else out there is doing FCE that this has been useful. I'll make some more FCE videos over the next few days, and I hope to see you all soon. Thanks for coming.